Good afternoon traders, it's Simon at Kairos Capital Markets with the weekly review of Aussie dollar and pound yen. Last week I started off with the DXY and I'm going to leave the same charts up to show you exactly what happened, what we said and what happened as well, because we're pretty much spot on. So on the monthly chart we saw these tweezers and I said I felt there'd be some bullish pressure to the upside now. There'd be some people taking their short position dollars off, they would, and that's exactly what's happened. Also note, I said the mini double bottom there, you got tweezers, key level, monthly 50 EMA, RSI is at 0, so a lot of buying pressure was looking to go there. Now on the weekly chart I said there wasn't much bullish presence at the moment because it hasn't really changed trend or anything at all. It's just it's just going back into the range, so this chart doesn't confirm nothing yet at all. But what I did say is this: I just did say to you about the daily 50 EMA. It is in the way, but I didn't really feel it'd be too much problem. And notice how he just come up, tested the 93 level, then come back to the upside again, exactly following the head and shoulder pattern which I outlined last week. This pattern has not been changed at all, 100%. And now we're at the top at 94, which I did say was a neckline, so we're now at the neckline. So for me personally, I do feel pullback to 93 would really show value on the dollar. And if we look into the intraday of 93, this is the 4-hour chart. This would be a left shoulder here. Here would be a neckline here at 94. Every time, guys, I'll do it another way for you. I'll make life a little bit easier for you. So just cut the same thing down. So there's your left shoulder, there's your neckline, there's that, that and that again. That's what we're looking for. Also notice here there was a mini inverse head and shoulder pattern on the head as well, so this is why it's quite strong. So the 4-hour 50 MA has not been respected one bit, so I'm not really too bothered about trading through that when it does happen. I do feel the dollar could break down to the downside this next week, just because it show value, and you'll see that when it breaks this line around about there somewhere. The only problem is this actually tradable? Probably not. I really wouldn't want to trade that unless there's an ultra short term trade elsewhere. But for me personally, that's not really tradable at the moment for the short distance it could go to. So for me personally, I'm bullish the dollar when it rejects 93 at the right shoulder. At 93 we would see a Fibonacci pullback of 0.382. You'll see the pattern, you've got a key level, you're putting a higher low there as well, so you're changing trend. It could come back to 92 to make a double bottom, it really could, but this is what I'm looking for. This 93 is definitely the first area I'm looking for. So that's what I see for this week. So how does that translate into the Aussie dollar itself in general? So let's just change these charts over to Aussie dollar and we will go through individually. So as you know, on the monthly chart and the quarterly chart I did get stopped out on this long-term short position, but it's now breaking down quite nicely. On the weekly chart we've got another bearish engulfing candle. So last week I highlighted this pattern here. We broke down to that downside obviously last week, and well 2 weeks ago. Then this week I was looking for a pullback. I did say it may not happen this week, but that's what I'm looking for. And for me personally, I would really like a pullback down up to the 80 level, because that 80 level presents good value. The only thing now though is that it's fallen down quite a lot. So for this to grind up higher, bear in mind that if you look at the DXY on the daily, that's only got a short-term move up to 38 down to 382. So when you could come back to this trade, 382 is going to be the daily 50. Now daily 50 hasn't really been respected too much, but a bit more than the DXY daily 50, but it's still going to be there. So it's one of these trades where you have to look at and gauge it on multiple time frames to see what happens. Obviously at the moment the Aussie has just collapsed down. There is no bullish presence at all there. So to be quite honest, we're just going to have to wait and see on this one. Unfortunately, you can draw a trend like that, but again, it doesn't give you no actual proper indication as such. So for me personally, I don't like this pair that much at the moment, and I want to see a bit more structure to it before I start jumping in on this trade. So pound yen, we're going to go to the multiple charts on pound yen. So outlined last month, nice bullish engulfing candle, a pullback to 148 would be really ideal, and last week we got that pullback to 148. So this is your your daily chart here. Unfortunately, I don't want to buy this right now, and there's a reason why. if you see this here, you've got tweezer tops and then just decelerate and a drop down to downside. No decel, no nothing at all. And if you notice, every time you get a drop to the downside, you need something to normally to buy it with some deceleration. So for example, you look here, it fell down here and then chopped around and then carried on falling down again. So that was a bad trade there, that would have been. If you look on my previous video, I explained why that was a bad trade there. If you see here, it dropped down, then decelerating, but 2 weeks worth of deceleration in. 2 weeks deceleration, 2 weeks deceleration. So really, in all fair, this is the only time it did not really decelerate here. But I mean, this week here, it has decelerated quite a lot. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks deceleration before it popped up to the upside. That was last year, 2016. So for me to even think about this, I need to see some deceleration now, because, and there's a big because here, on the daily chart you have this problem. See, the daily 50 could be interacted. It could touch and test this upward sloping trend line of the triangle, and the daily 50 is there as well. So just blindly buying now is not good. And at the same time, there is no structure at all there. It's just dropped. There's nothing else to it. So it's like you jump onto the train that's speeding in the opposite direction, and you just get splattered by it, and you get whipsawed your account out. So this chart needs some deceleration and some structure to it. So whether that structure happens on the hourly chart, so in the example here, either there's nothing happened so far, at the moment this is just a bear trend. It's just bomb, 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 drop, that's it. All the pound pairs did this last week. So you need to see some structure around this area, and that could be double bottoms, inverse head and shoulder patterns, anything like that at all. But if this is an inverse head and shoulder pattern, if it was to be formed, this would be the left shoulder. They'll have to come up there to the neckline, then come down a bit more, then come back up again, then test 1 foot. So if it comes down to here, say where S1 is roughly, 146.6, on the daily chart, 146.6 is the daily 50 EMA. So for me personally, if it does form an inverse head and shoulder pattern, it is going to test the daily 50 EMA. So you need to wait and see in this one as well. So for me this week, both the Aussie dollar and the pound yen, I just want to wait and see what it does. I do feel personally that the actual dollar is going to turn weak. It will this week, just because that's some good value for people to sell at again. So that's my weekly review on that bit there. Pound yen, I'm just going to leave. We was 100% right. We were looking to get on this pair actually at the start of the week. It didn't give us what I like, the proper pullback signals, but we had orders in there. But then we did take euro, pound. We had pound Swiss on there as well. We had pound Aussie, I think, as well on the watch. So we had a few pound pairs. It's not pound yen. Anyway, guys, hope you had a good weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.